We begin today with breaking news. The Justice Department has notified a federal judge that it intends to seek the death penalty for Dzhokhar Tsarnaev. That will only be the case if a jury convicts Tsarnaev for last April's bomb attacks at the Boston Marathon. The attacks, which took place 9 months ago, left 3 people dead and 260 wounded. Tamerlan Tsarnaev, Dzhokhar's brother who allegedly perpetrated the attack, was killed in a confrontation with police in the days following the bombing. Now let's bring in artiste Marina Portnaya to discuss this a little bit more. Marina, how did the Justice Department come to the decision that the death penalty was appropriate in this case?
Well, U.S. Attorney General Eric Holder says that the nature of the conduct at issue and the resulting harm from the Boston bombings compelled his decision for the U.S. to seek the death penalty in the case against defendant Dzhokhar Tsarnaev. Now, before making a decision, Mr. Holder did take recommendations from his own staff, as well as the Justice Department's Capital Case Review Committee and Boston's U.S. Attorney Carmen Ortiz. Now, since the federal death penalty was reinstated in 1988, the U.S. Attorney Generals have authorized its use for an estimated 500 defendants, but of those, only 3 have been executed, including Timothy McVeigh, who was convicted in the 1995 Oklahoma City bombings. Now, Tsarnaev faces 30 counts in connection to the Boston bombings, including the use of weapons of mass destruction, resulting in the death of the bombing and of a public place. He's also accused of murdering a Massachusetts Institute of Technology police officers days following the bombing. Now, of the 17 charges which you've mentioned in your lead against Tsarnaev, he could receive the death penalty for them. So he has 30 charges against him. 17 of them he could face the death penalty, and the 20-year-old suspect did plead not guilty on all counts back in July. He remains in federal custody.
And Marina, we're talking about the death penalty here, a very serious issue. Do you think this is going to spark any controversy amongst Americans at all?
Well, I don't know what kind of controversy we will see. Many did believe that this decision wouldn't come down, that Attorney General Holder would actually decide the opposite way, and that's because the U.S. Attorney General did disclose several times, that he's personally opposed to the death penalty. However, he instead chose to seek the death penalty in this case. Now, some experts believe that the reason he made that decision is because if he decided against life in prison, it could have fueled Republican accusations against the administration and the Attorney General for being too soft on terrorism. But if we look at a poll published back in September by the Boston Globe, it found that only 33% of people in Massachusetts actually supported the death penalty for Tsarnaev. The majority, 57%, favored a life sentence without the possibility of parole. So here we have the U.S. Attorney General not siding with the majority opinion of the case of Tsarnaev and actually going for the death penalty.
It's very interesting. So when can we expect all of this to sort of commence? When is the trial supposed to begin?
Well, Boston's U.S. District Judge George O'Toole has said he wants to get the trial rolling. He is the one that actually imposed today as the deadline for the Attorney General to make his decision on the death penalty. Judge O'Toole has ordered a conference with the lawyers on February 12th so they could all decide a starting date of the trial. So we don't know when it will start, but by mid-February we will have word on when the trial is expected to begin.
It's a highly anticipated case. A lot of people will be watching. Marina Portnaya from our New York studio. Thank you.